All right, eighth graders, so this video is going to help you with number 1 on CR number 1. And what I'll do on these videos is I'll do similar problems, but not the same problems on your CR. It'll hit the same learning standard. Like this is a 6th grade exponent learning standard. So let's just go over this problem. How many dots will be in figure 5? Explain how you determined your answer. Okay, so there's lots of ways to go about this problem, but what I might do is I might set up a little chart for myself. And I might do figure number, and then I might do number of dots. And organizing my work in a table form sometimes helps me come up with the final answer. So let's just call this figure number 1. This could be figure number 2, figure number 3, figure number 4. So if I look in figure number 1, there's 3 dots. So in figure 1, there's 3 dots. All right. Figure 2, there's 3, 6, 9 dots. Okay. In figure 2, there's 9 dots. Figure 3, it appears to now in this section 3, 6, 9, 3, 6, 9, 3, 6, 9. Oh God, now we're up to 27. Here we were at 9, here we're at 3. So in our third figure, we're up to 27 dots. Let's see what's happening here. Fourth figure. At this point, I might be ready to predict how many dots are in this fourth figure. Because as I look down this column, I'll notice 3 times 3 is 9. 9 times 3 is 27. I bet you if I do 27 times 3, I'll come up with the number of dots in that fourth figure. Let's look. 7 times 3 is 21. 3 times 2 is 6, 7, 8. So that's 81. Whew! 81. So in my fourth figure, I bet there's 81. Well, if I look here, that's 9 times 3, that's 27. And there's 3 sets of 27. Yup, that's going to be 81. But they care about in figure 5. Now I'm going to relate it back to your problem. So in this one, you might say, oh, okay, I'll just take here, 3 times 3 is 9, 9 times 3 is 27, 27 times 3 is 81, 81 times 3 is, but they might ask you eventually, wow, how many in the 100th figure? Well, we can't just keep multiplying by 3, multiplying by 3, multiplying by 3, all the way down to the 100th figure. That would be out of the realm of possibility. It'd take us all day. So we have to figure out a shortcut method. But if we notice in this problem, we just keep multiplying by 3. Well, repeated multiplication of 3, like 3 times 3 times 3. Repeated multiplication means something. What about if we draw in our table, I'm just going to add to my table. What if I look at some repeated multiplications of 3 to try to figure out how this happens? So I'm going to write these as repeated multiplications of 3. Well, that's just 3. How do I get to 9? Oh, 3 times 3 is 9. How do I get to 27 with repeated multiplications of 3? Oh, 3 times 3 is 9 times 3 is 27. How many times am I going to multiply 3 by itself to get to 81? Oh, 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. Oh, so in the first figure, I just needed a 3. In the second figure, it was 3 times 3. I multiplied 3 by itself twice. For my third figure, it was 3 times 3 times 3. I multiplied 3 by itself 3 times. In my fourth figure, it was 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. I multiplied 3 by itself 4 times. Oh. I'm ready to write this as exponents involving 3. Let's put it in exponential form. Let's use exponents. All right. So we can see for the fifth one, how many times would I have to multiply 3 by itself? 5 times. 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. And I don't know what that is. 3 times 1 is 3. 3 times 8 is 24. 243. There must be 243 dots in the fifth figure. But let's see. This first one, when it was the first figure, it was just 3 to the first power. For the second figure, it was 3 to the second power. For the third figure, it was 3 to the third power. For the fourth figure, 1, 2, 3, 4, it was 3 to the fourth power. For the fifth figure, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it was 3 to the fifth power. Guess what? They asked you for the 100th figure. At this point, you could say, okay, sure, if you want to know the number of dots, it's 3 to the 100th power. And we're not going to spend time figuring that out. So how many dots will be in the fifth figure? It will be 243. They ask you to, oops, sorry, let me go back, my bad. If they ask you to figure out how you got that, you could say I just did 3 to the fifth power. The figure number will be the power, the exponent on your base of 3. So that's 3 to the fifth power. So yours involved powers of 2. So hopefully you can figure out which figure has 2 to the fourth power. You can set up a similar chart, but using 2s, obviously, instead of 3s. You don't have dots, you have little boxes or, little squares you're looking at to figure out how many. Hopefully that helped. A lot of information in that video.